The best way to calculate price elasticity is with the midpoints formula. The midpoints formula uses the average of the two prices as the denominator to calculate the percentage change in price, and the average of the two quantities as the denominator to calculate the percentage change in quantity. Using these averages ensures that the elasticity when price increases from $2 to $3, for example, is the same as the elasticity when price decreases from $3 to $2. The video from Khan that I asked you to look at in preparation has some examples. Let's do a couple more. Let's compare the elasticities when price increases from 95 to 105 and the quantity demanded falls from 410 to either 390 or to 350. Row 1 in the table below shows that the initial price is 95 and the initial quantity is 410. Row 2 shows what happens when price rises to 105 and the quantity falls to 390. Row 3 shows what happens when price goes to 105 and the quantity falls to 350. First, the change in price in rows 2 and 3 is the same. It's $10. Price went from 95 to 105, 95 to 105. So the change in price in both row 2 and 3 is $10. The midpoint price for both rows is now 100. It's the average of 95 and 105. 100 is halfway between 95 and 105. 100 is the midpoint of the two prices. If we take the ratio of the change in quantity by this midpoint price, we find that the price has risen by 10% using the midpoint formula. Now, the change in quantity depends upon whether we're looking at row 2 when the quantity falls to 390 or row 3 when quantity falls to 350. Let's look at row 2. Here we have quantity falling from 410 to 390. That's a decrease of 20. The average quantity, or the midpoint quantity, is the value halfway between 410 and 390. That's 400. If we divide minus 20 by 400, we'll get minus 5%. And if we take the ratio of the percentage change in quantity divided by the percentage change in price, we'll get, and then take the absolute value, we'll get an absolute value of elasticity of 0.5. Here the demand, the absolute value of the price elasticity is 0.5, and the demand is inelastic. We see that when price goes up, total revenue rises. Now let's grab this guy and bring him up so we can see everything. Now let's talk about what happens in row 3, where the quantity falls to 350. In this case, the change in quantity is going to be minus 60 because quantity fell to 350 from 410. The midpoint quantity is 380, which is the average of 410 and 350. So I've got minus 60 as my change in quantity. I've got 380 as the midpoint quantity. The percentage change is going to be minus 15.8%, which is minus 60 divided by 380. And when I calculate the elasticity, I'm going to get, the absolute value of the elasticity is going to be the absolute value of the price elasticity is going to be 1.58. It's the absolute value of minus 15.8 divided by 10. We see again that, or we see now that revenue, in this case, falls as price increases. The reason revenue fell when price went up is because the demand was elastic.